Space Command moving to Huntsville is not just a big economic headline. For Huntsville home sellers, it means more serious buyers, more relocation demand, and more pressure on homes that are priced and prepared correctly. But it does not mean every home can be overpriced and still sell. That's the part sellers need to understand. The opportunity is real, but the strategy still matters. U.S. Space Command has started its permanent move to Redstone Arsenal, and the first operational pieces are already happening in Huntsville. Personnel assigned to the command's intelligence directorate relocated to Redstone Arsenal on April 15, 2026, and Space Command took operational control of a facility at Redstone Arsenal later that same month. So this is not just a someday story anymore. It is already affecting how buyers look at Huntsville. And if you own a home in Huntsville, Madison, Hampton Cove, Owens Crossroads, South Huntsville, Jones Valley, or anywhere within a reasonable commute to Redstone Arsenal, this is something you need to be paying attention to. Here's the simple version. Space Command brings three types of real estate demand: military families, Department of Defense civilian employees, and defense contractors who follow the mission. Those buyers do not all shop the same way, but they do have some common patterns. They usually want reasonable commute access to Redstone Arsenal. They care about school districts. They care about move-in readiness, and many of them are coming here on a timeline. That timeline matters. A local buyer may have the luxury of waiting 6 months for the right home. A military PCS buyer often does not. They may have orders. They may have a report date. They may be trying to get children enrolled in school before the year starts. They may be trying to sell in one city, buy in another city, move a family, and start a new job all at the same time. That creates urgency. But urgency does not mean they stop being smart. That's where some sellers get this wrong. They hear Space Command is coming to Huntsville, and they assume that means buyers will pay anything. They will not. These buyers may be relocating from Colorado Springs, Northern Virginia, the D.C. area, or other higher-cost markets. Yes, Huntsville may look affordable to them. Yes, they may be surprised by what their money buys here, but they are still going to compare your home to other homes in Huntsville. They are still going to look at condition. They are still going to look at location. They are still going to look at recent comparable sales. And if your home is overpriced, they will see it. The Huntsville market is stronger because of Space Command, but pricing discipline still matters. That is the key point. Space Command does not save a bad pricing strategy. It rewards a good one. Now let's talk about where this demand is most likely to show up. Buyers tied to Redstone Arsenal usually pay close attention to commute routes. That naturally puts focus on areas like South Huntsville, Jones Valley, Hampton Cove, Owens Crossroads, Madison, and parts of Northwest Huntsville. South Huntsville has always had deep Redstone roots. You see that around Bailey Cove, Weatherly Road, Mountain Gap, and the older established neighborhoods that have served defense families for decades. Hampton Cove and Owens Crossroads appeal to buyers who want more space, newer homes, and a quieter setting while still keeping access back toward Redstone. Jones Valley appeals to buyers who want established neighborhoods, mature trees, and convenient access to central Huntsville. Madison remains a strong draw for buyers who prioritize Madison City Schools and access to Redstone, Research Park, and the western side of the market. But here's the important part. Not every home in those areas automatically benefits the same way. A clean, well-presented, properly priced home in a strong location will stand out. A dated home with deferred maintenance and an aggressive price will still struggle. That is true even with relocation demand. Especially with relocation demand, these buyers are often trying to reduce risk. They are not just buying a house. They are trying to solve a life problem. They need a place to land. They need confidence. They need to know the home will work. They need to know the commute makes sense. They need to know the school situation works for their family. They need to know they are not walking into a list of repairs the week after closing. That is why preparation matters so much. If you are thinking about selling, the first step is to look at your home through the eyes of a relocation buyer, not through your eyes, not through your neighbor's eyes, not through what you paid for it. Through the buyer's eyes, they are asking a very practical question. Can I move into this home quickly and confidently? If the answer is yes, you are in a much stronger position. If the answer is no, you need to decide what is worth fixing before you go on the market. And that does not always mean a full remodel. Sometimes it means handling the small items that make buyers nervous. Peeling paint, rotten wood, loose handrails, stained carpet, old caulking, HVAC concerns, plumbing leaks, a roof that raises questions. These things may not seem huge by themselves, but to a relocating buyer, they create doubt, and doubt slows offers. For VA buyers, these items can matter even more. A lot of military buyers use VA financing. VA loans can be a very strong financing option, but the appraisal process has property condition standards sellers need to understand. That does not mean you should avoid VA buyers. Not at all. It means you should be prepared. If your likely buyer pool includes military relocation buyers, a pre-listing walkthrough can help identify the items that might create issues later. It is much better to know those things before the home goes active than to discover them after you are under contract. Because once you are under contract, every repair issue becomes a negotiation issue. And negotiation issues cost time, money, or both. The second step is pricing the home based on current Huntsville data, not headlines, not hope, not what your neighbor thinks, not what a buyer from Colorado might be used to paying. Current Huntsville data. That means recent comparable sales, competing active listings, your condition, your location, your updates, your lot, your school zone, your price bracket, and the buyer pool most likely to respond. This is where a lot of sellers make the mistake of pricing based on excitement. They think, Space Command is coming, so let's push the price. The better strategy is to price where the strongest buyers see clear value. That creates activity. Activity creates leverage. Leverage creates better options. Overpricing usually does the opposite. It creates silence, and silence is expensive. The third step is making the home easy to understand online. Most relocation buyers are not starting their search by driving around Huntsville. They are searching online. They are comparing neighborhoods. They are looking at commute times. They are watching videos. They are studying photos. They are trying to narrow the field before they ever get here. Your online presentation needs to answer their questions quickly. Where's the home? How does it live? How close is it to Redstone Arsenal? What schools serve it? What updates have been made? What makes the neighborhood practical? Is the home move-in ready? Is there anything they need to worry about? Professional photos matter. Floor plans matter. Clear descriptions matter. Strong digital marketing matters. But none of that works if the home is not priced correctly. Marketing does not fix overpricing. It exposes it. That may sound blunt, but it is true. Good marketing brings attention. Good pricing converts that attention into showings and offers. Space Command gives Huntsville sellers a stronger audience. But the home still has to compete. That is the part I want sellers to take seriously. This move is good for Huntsville. It adds high-income jobs. It adds buyer demand. It strengthens the defense and aerospace ecosystem that already includes Redstone Arsenal, NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, Cummings Research Park, Boeing, Blue Origin, Dynetics, Leidos, and many other employers tied to the mission. But from a seller's point of view, the question is not just, is this good for Huntsville? The better question is, how do I position my home to benefit from it? Because the sellers who benefit most are usually not the ones who just get lucky. They are the ones who prepare early. They make smart repairs. They price with discipline. They present the home clearly. They understand the buyer, and they remove friction before the home ever hits the market. That is especially important in the $300,000 to $700,000 range, where many military, civilian, and contractor relocation buyers are likely to be shopping in the Huntsville area. If your home falls in that range and you are near a strong commute route to Redstone Arsenal, you may have a real opportunity. But opportunity is not the same as a guaranteed result. You still need the right plan. Here's what I would do if I were preparing to sell a home in this market. First, get the home evaluated before you start guessing at price. Second, identify the repairs or updates that are most likely to affect buyer confidence. Third, build the listing strategy around the most likely buyer pool, not just the highest possible asking price. That simple process can save you a lot of frustration. Because the wrong strategy usually shows up fast. You list too high. Showings are slow. Feedback gets quiet. The home sits. Then you start chasing the market with price reductions. That is not where you want to be. The better outcome is simple. You come on the market prepared. Buyers understand the value. Relocation buyers can picture themselves moving in. the home competes well against the other options, and you make decisions from a position of strength instead of stress. That is the real advantage. Space Command is not a magic button. It is a demand driver. And demand drivers help prepared sellers the most. If you're thinking about selling, buying, relocating, or investing in the Huntsville area, this is where a short conversation can save you a lot of time and guesswork. Schedule your free 20-minute strategy call using the link in the description. We'll look at your location, your price range, your timing, and how your home fits into the current Huntsville market. Then you can make your next move with a clear plan instead of trying to guess what the headlines really mean for you.
Oh.